Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the stream. I am going to be showing the mod that I've been working on with the Talons and Twilight team. But before that, there's something I need to announce that will help clear up a lot of questions and raise a lot of questions. So, without further ado, take a look at this.
Wer verantwortlich für das allgemeine Wohl hat, muss alle erscheinen. United, we can match this challenge with a unity which is above recrimination, above partisanship.
All right, so there you go. So finally, Project Stressa Season 2 is actually being made. And instead of it just being little dingy cubams, we're making a whole Hearts of Iron 4 mod out of it. It's been quite a lot of work, and I'm really excited to show you guys what we've been doing, talk more about the ideas behind why we're doing it this way, and other things that we can do. Yeah, I'm going to start undeafening myself in the chat with the Discord members now, so we can all introduce ourselves. And I am here with Aka, Likas, that one guy, and Inferno, some developers who have been working on the project with me. Also, we have Echoes9 and Iridescent Lizard, I believe. So, Likas, I guess you can start talking. Let's see, make sure that the stream actually works the way we want it to.
Yeah, so welcome everyone to the first Talons and Twilight stream. I am Likas. I am one of the head developers of Talons and Twilight. So I've been working with Lordad these past couple years on associated projects, but I'd say Talons and Twilight is probably the best thing you will have ever seen, okay? So, me and Lordad, right? Lordad's famous Project Stressa, you know, the 1 hour movie that's glamored the claim of 3 hours, sorry.
It's okay.
Alright. Amazing. Everyone loves Project Stressa, right? So when I founded the mod with a couple others, right? We thought, it would be cool. It would be cool to have Project Stressa as a mod, but at the end of the series, right? And this is because Lordad held the Talons and Twilight NRP, which I helped organize. And everyone loved that. That was one of the best community events we had. So we thought, let's make a Hoi 4 mod for that. So about 2024 October, we started work, but it was really slow. So around Talons and Twilight 2, which was the second version of the NRP in May this year, right? As an anniversary, we thought, let's get this done. Let's get this actually done, right? So we pushed through, we got our first teaser, and before we knew it, the mod was public. So the last couple of months, from 2025 until now, we've been working, we've had a lot of like public awareness, right? We haven't been advertising our mod as much in Lordad areas, aside from his server maybe. So we've been growing the mod independently from like the Lordad brand like as much until a couple months ago when Lordad started posting us. So we've been growing the mod in a Hoi4 community without, you know, just attaching it to Lordad and seeing if people like it. And we found that a lot of people really do like the mod, the concept, the philosophy, everything. And so we feel like today, which Lordad's been very grateful for having a stream with us today, that we're going to be able to showcase the mod because we feel it's reached a point where we can show the greater Lordad fan base. So, welcome everyone to Talons and Twilight.
Yeah, well, thank you, Likas, for giving that. It's very eloquent. I probably wouldn't be able to put it better myself. So, yeah, we've been working on this together, and there's been some questions that have been coming in the chat, so I'll be addressing them. So, what's the point of divergence? Crazily enough, Austria uniting with Germany in 1919. There's a 3-hour movie about it. I'll actually be making a recap episode sometime soon. So anybody who wants to be a part of Talons, Project Talons, as it comes out, doesn't need to watch a 3-hour movie beforehand. Obviously, I would say that it's a pretty good watch, but it'll be around 20 minutes long. So is this chronologically after the lore in the YouTube videos? So it's interesting because in the epilogue, I kind of set up the last episode to set up a nation roleplay. So it's almost more like episode 14 is where it ends, and then the beginning of the epilogue is where the Project Talons really starts. And that goes into a good other question: what's changed from the original? So in the original thing with the epilogue, I had the idea of just making the nation roleplay. So I rushed the decolonization of Africa. I pushed a Venezuelan civil war 10 years later than it should have been. I had a Russian empire instead of just a Russian provisional government. There's been other minor retcons around that as well. So like the Mandate of Syria is back. And I can go more into detail about the specific lore of why that is. And in the treaty that America signed with Germany to end the war, it was initially just supposed to be that they divided between two governments and they didn't have any sort of intention to find a detente beyond the Second World War. But in this timeline in Talons and Twilight, the Treaty of Berne is supposed to guarantee that France and Italy will be united again and neutral, so that eventually when all the territorial problems are sorted out in Europe, they can eliminate the communists, which is in America's interest because they have Japan here, but the People's Republic of Japan is up here. There'll be a proxy war here that they need to manage. And so man, what do I talk about now? There's just so much to talk. Let's see here. Syria's divided. Why is Syria back? Yeah. So, as I said, the Treaty of Berne is supposed to be something that unifies France again. There's a plebiscite in Alsace-Lorraine, which is why it's not full Alsace, but there's still Strasbourg in Germany. You have the French transitional authorities. So instead of it just being a republic, France holders holding on to France. The our timeline fascist sympathizer comes into power again. This is like very, very rough still. So we have Charles Lindbergh inaugurated, and I'm not going to read these things. I probably should, to make sure that the assets for episode 1 are correct. But this is where everything starts to change. The Treaty of Berne being repudiated. I don't know how to say that out loud. That focus here, the automatic focus in the event, basically says, okay, France, you don't need to democratize anymore. Kingdom of Italy, you can keep the Acerbo laws. You're not going to unite with the people up here, and America wants its loans back because they loaned a bunch of money to Germany. Maybe I shouldn't be giving too much of episode 1 away. But point is, I'm really excited about it. There's a lot of lore that's been developed for this. I've written episode 1. I'm maybe 80% of the way through episode 2. I've outlined 7 episodes worth of content, but I'll probably need more. And as the developer team expands and as we add more depth to the rest of the world, we'll be able to properly address everything. Okay, yeah, so any other questions that have been notable to answer that anybody in the dev team thinks? Would America have a civil war? Potentially way later, but not right away. Anyway, go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah, there's a question about why Australia and New Zealand are united.
I actually don't remember the exact lore reason for that. You would probably be better for that because this is your baby.
I did deliberate this to Napoleon era. So basically, Australia and New Zealand, right? In the Australian Constitution, there is a section, right, from Federation that allows New Zealand to join any time. So because the oceanic colonies, right, they decided to go with the Edwardian government, the fascists in Canada, right? Due to anti-Japanese sentiment, Australia's a really racist country at this time. They don't like Asians, and famously, our politicians usually are quoted saying, outrageous things, right? So Australia and New Zealand can always unite. So pressure from the government, from Mosley, right? They try to force them together, right? They want to consolidate a falling empire, and the empire's already split in half. Right, there's an ad. Okay, right? So New Zealand, utilizing the Australian Constitution, is pressured by the British government in Canada to unite, right? So the Statute of Westminster has not been ratified yet, despite it being announced. Self government's dominionship, it hasn't been announced yet, so ratified yet. So they come together, right? So New Zealand was always somewhat more progressive than Australia. That is correct because the Maori tribes, they used to have a lot of treaties, and a big reason why they didn't join Australia is because of this treatment towards the natives. But in this timeline, right, that's bypassed because having the reactionary Edwardian government place dominionship in charge, they come together, right? So that's that's basically it. So the Oceanian naming, right, instead of Australasia, that's sort of like a play on 1984 Oceania. You'll see some of that later. I'm not gonna leak anymore, but
Literally 1984.
yeah. So 1984, basically 1984 memes. You get the meme, but yeah, they come together. It's they take all the British and French colonies in the area. So could New Zealand possibly rebel at some point? Absolutely.
I actually really like that
Absolutely.
idea. We hadn't. I don't know if we considered that or not. I like that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. New Zealand can rebel. Having a government in Canberra centralizing more power would make parts of Australia rebel. Absolutely, New Zealand could rebel. I love that. Thank you. There's a question about why East Asia we decentralized, and I think that would be you and Inferno, because Inferno's in this chat also, so we can have you and Inferno talk.
Yeah, well, I'm the head dev of the Comintern. Essentially, what happened there is that at this point of time, there is no unified constitution binding the communist states of East Asia together at this point. It's just separate. Hell, China doesn't even really have a constitution at this point since they just won. So they're decentralized at this point because there is no unifying fabric between them in the aftermath of their defeat. And because the Treaty of Bern is still in effect, they're more so being ready for a war against the Russian provisional government and everyone else instead of trying to unify after the Treaty of Bern's repudiated, because then that pressure's off them and they can actually turn inwards.
Yeah.
Well said.
Oh, jeez. We both said something at the same time. Okay, I'll just take over. So, that's exactly it. And there's also, if you see, there's demilitarized zones here. There's content planned for the way that things develop here. But yes, you will see the UESR formed and very big. They'll be involved in Vietnam to take over, to like liberate France again, which, because the way that the Treaty of Bern was set up, it would have been a French colony again, but now it's under just the South French, which then causes the Cato to be upset. Then we have Japan here. Something I'm really excited to talk about. Do we even have it here? Oh, here it is. Okay, I want to nerd out for a bit. We have Douglas MacArthur as a tag, maybe even playable.
Okinawa.
Yeah, maybe even playable in the first release. We have a lot of ideas for how he can be used, but just like to let your imagination run wild, he gets a blank check to do whatever he wants. Like I say in the epilogue, he was fired for suggesting 54 nukes to be deployed against China here in our timeline. But in this timeline, we have Lindbergh in charge. So as you can imagine, things might end up a little different. I'll just leave it like that. But yeah, there's interesting content that I want to talk about so much content, but I don't know what to do here. Can communist Japan join the UESR? I think that should be a path. We have to solidify that, but
I don't quite remember, but I think it was an idea that was being entertained for if they win in Japan.
Yeah, I'm for it because like It's really
Especially
interesting.
on like a decentralized path.
Exactly, yeah, because the UESR would claim all USSR territories, and the USSR went south, so even all of Azerbaijan, some parts of Turkey, would be integrated into this really big union. It's almost like a NC sort of situation where you
Yeah.
don't have nukes and there are two powers right at neck, but because Lindbergh destroyed the treaty, you have an opportunity to reclaim the workers' revolutionary state and go ham on the world, basically. So it's going to be a pretty interesting gameplay experience, which, yeah, and it would include Japan, because if it's the Union of East Asian Communist States, then of course Japan should be involved. And that, I think, is even one of the reasons why Japan and North Japan have a war, because America doesn't want Japan, which is like one big unsinkable carrier base, to sink and fall to the communists. Is this mod going to be like TNO? We're,
Then-
we're,
In what regard?
we're focusing more on a 1,000-week break approach, just because of how the times are similar. Like maybe in like 18 years, when like Lordad gets washed, it'll be like, okay, we have the Hearts of Iron 5 mod, Talons and Twilight season 3, and it's actually the 60s, and then we can have a TNO styled thing there. But there's gonna be a lot of conflicts here, because from my time on Culture Krieg and the feedback about that, there's going to be a lot of content in Civil Wars, maybe even too much, but you know what?
I mean,
That we'll
oh,
see.
wait, sorry.
It wouldn't be a stress
This-
successor if it didn't involve conflicts all over the world, right? So
I mean, to be fair, it's the 1950s, so that's kind of to be expected.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the paths for the Saturbat path? I have the canon path that I'm not going to tell you, but there will be a civil war in Iran, and there will be a Pakistan revolt. And the reason why there are these things that we know them to be true is it's based off of like the 3 Talons and Twilight Nation roleplays that we did, where the Cato people. Oh, I should be having music in the background. What am I doing?
Oh, we play the Talons and
Fail.
Twilight theme. It's the
Well, yeah, we did, but
invade-
I can be playing music in the background to benefit the stream. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
it's based off of the Talons and Twilight Nation roleplays. So when Kato and the ADN were fighting each other with a bunch of long Discord messages, like any good debate on the internet, it included like the Pakistan revolt. We rolled 20, like we rolled from 1 to 20, and if you rolled a 20, it was a critical success no matter what. And I was like, let's have Pakistan revolt, because I already talked about that being a thing. I already had plans for it to be a thing in season 2, and it was really big. And then in response, because the Saturbat Pact, which is Turkey, Iraq, Iran, Kingdom of Afghanistan, are all a part of, they support Pakistan's revolt. But then because they're supporting this revolt, Cato's like, hey, hold on, F you, let's make Iran have a revolt. So then Iran has a Republican revolt, which would then be Cato, which is a really interesting part about the way that the United States would work. It's like, this guy's a fascist sympathizer, but America is a liberal constitution republic, right? So they would support a liberal constitution republic in Iran, and Iran would be like the ADN would kind of like favor it if it weren't for the fact that Iran is a part of the Turkish sphere and they're trying to be friends with Turkey, because if Turkey is friends with Cato, then they can just march in and then start effing things up around here, and we don't want that. So there's a lot of things, a lot of nuances that I'll be able to talk more about when I actually make videos on it. But what I did want to highlight with this is that there's a lot of things that are directly inspired by the Talons and Twilight Nation roleplays. So if you played in them or you've heard about them, thank you for your interest and being a part of it, because it wouldn't have been done without you guys. So, Afghanistan and Pakistan,
thank
yeah,
you.
Duranistan. I think that was one of the ideas here, is that Afghanistan would be involved. I think that even happened in one of the Talons roleplays. I could be wrong though. Anyway, anybody else have anything to say? No, okay.
Yeah,
I
just
think
want to
it's
tell the
cool.
chat. Yeah, feel free to ask questions, guys. Don't be shy. We even have one of our own head devs asking questions in the stream chat. Yusko.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Yusko just asked a question about Syria. Syria's retconned because
Yeah.
uh,
Um.
French mandate.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we have yeah.
what happened here is that like the kind of lore that I set up for this already was kind of not great, and we're having problems like figuring out exactly how the conflict would work. But in this case, it's a lot better because the Syrian or like Turkey wants Syria to be a state, but it wants it to be neutral because it already has enough border tension between Israel, which is Cato, and its friend of Iraq. The British are still here, but they'll be decolonizing, and Saudi Arabia could be part of it. It's just in their interest to have one of their biggest borders at land to be neutral. But after the Treaty of Berne is repudiated, things change here, and there'll be a conflict between. Well, we have to balance it properly, but it could be Israel versus the Syrian mandate, which is then supported by Turkey, and the Israeli could defeat Syria, potentially take some land here. But Israel, at this current state, is more like a protectorate of Italy. So it could be that there's Italian gains here. And if it could even escalate so that Turkey has to fight Italy and all these things. There's a lot of potential paths. So one of the reasons why it was so hard to even write Season 2. Because even if we didn't make it into a Hearts of Iron 4 mod, there's so many things that could happen that it's so hard to even decide what the canon path would be, what would be the most satisfying narratively. And for a while, I just saw Talons as like, you know what, Talons and Twilight can be its own thing, and we can have them continue on Stressa while I focus on other stuff. And that was kind of my policy from the beginning. But then after I started to have a better understanding of what it would be like, and I was also inspired by the Talons and Twilight team, I managed to get a story that I really want to tell. And it's like, well, if you have this thing already being able to tell that story, then we can go ahead and do that. So that's why there's so many different things that could happen. And in this way, by having Syria be a mandate that's underneath French administration, but it's like, which France, North or South? And then after there's two different governments, and it's like, oh wait, who's controlling French mandate? And then Cato's like, me, and then Saturbat Pact is like, no, me, and it's like, wait, what's going on? There's a fight here, right? That's just way better than Turkey annexing a bunch of land, Iraq owning a bunch of desert, and then the Druze state existing. We still are going to have the Druze state potentially be like a protectorate of Italy. There'll also be impacts on the way that Lebanon focuses out, but this is the same sort of thing here. Lebanon used to be part of the Mandate of Syria, and so did Hatay, but Turkey wanted Hatay, and Lebanon was already a state that could be a neutral buffer between themselves and Turkey. So that's what we have that going on there, and the same way, like the Russian Empire, it won't start off as an empire. There could be in the future as a path, but yeah, right now we're just focusing on the conflicts between the major powers and making a canon path, but then allowing for, through gameplay, Hearts of Iron 4, world tension, things like that, we'll be able to expand. Is there a path for MacArthur being president? No comment. Why Kurdistan state didn't emerge? It did in Stressa, but then it was put down by the the Saxon allies, and Turkey marching down to liberate their kin oppressed by the Soviet Union. Why Kurdistan state didn't emerge? Oh, sorry, I already read that one. Is the Intermarine stable or unstable? Unstable. Is World War III possible? Yes, I want there to be the ability for the player to initiate World War III if they so choose, especially as America, because they're in the dominant position in the beginning, if not for the instability at home. Absolute Edward, potentially. Russia reclaim Siberia? Yes, but I'm not going to explain why. Can Portugal separate? There's going to be something happening with Portugal in the second episode. Hey, Term, how's it going? Good to see you. There's a lot more over here. Did these Yugoslav wars? Yes, we're even designing that right now.
Apologies. What I meant.
A lot. I'm just rambling about answering a bunch of questions in chat right now.
Yeah.
Worst
What was the
possible
question?
ending? That's a really good question. If Kato wins later, not earlier, that would be the worst outcome. There's several different things and several key reasons why, but I won't be able to tell you without spoiling what I have planned.
There's a worse outcome.
Yeah. Why is Alaska a different tag? Actually, I don't know why. There will be an episode to explain the retcons. It'll be the recap episode.
Sorry,
It's okay.
I can't explain
Yeah.
what's happening with Alaska.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's a That's a remnant from when we're trying to mess around with early PDTO stuff, because technically Alaska was under a separate military command as a territory, similar to how Okinawa was. That may or may not persist into the final version, but that was just set up.
Yeah,
Whilst we were in the debate of how to represent the PDTO and if it should be united at all at start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this is definitely work in progress. So you can even see here, Hawaii is its own tag, and then there's I think even Iwo Jima and this, and yeah. So there's 3 different tags to represent American territories, and then you could even count Occupy Taiwan as almost like a territory. This is like really work in progress. It's definitely not going to be the way that it ends. But to explain a little more, the PDO was like we were even considering having it be a separate faction that's just MacArthur taking control of things directly or indirectly. I think even in my own canon, I don't know if this is for sure. I don't know if I retcon this or not, but one of the reasons why the Edwardian government has the Dominion of Oceania is that MacArthur wanted to be able to control this army, while Edward had his own government up here. So it's like just a means, like MacArthur is going to shape the East the way that he sees fit if he has a blank check.
Yeah. Sorry, if I can cut in. One way to look at MacArthur, if you've played Old World Blues and you have Caesar and Lanius, right? Think of MacArthur as Lanius. He's like a branch off and goes off and does his own thing in the name of Caesar, and in this case in the name of the United States. So that's why you really need to look at MacArthur. Like he's a rogue bullet that has a lot of power and has the entire U.S. military's like Pacific might with him, and he's not afraid to do what he needs to do to take care. So, there's a question. So, on those 2 Hawaiian and Alaskan tags, they actually do get unified. There is a focus in the U.S. focus tree. It's called the Pacific Defense Command, I think.
Is it focus space autocomplete?
Focus.autocomplete, yeah.
Really? Hold on.
Yeah, focus.auto. And, yeah.
I just must have
You want to do
misspelled it. Yeah.
checks.
So Asian
Yeah,
Theater, Pacific Defense Command.
So that's when you that's when you establish it as the Pacific Defense Command. Instead of the separate commands, you're unifying one command structure into this.
Right. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and then MacArthur controls it, and he has all this territory, and he can go nuts.
So the U.S. can get those back, like Hawaii and Alaska, if they turn them into states, but that's very late game, like 58.
And then do we have? Oh yeah, check this out. We have.
Well, you gotta run the game. You gotta run the game for it to work properly. So press unpause.
Okay.
And,
Now can I do it?
Yeah, now you can do it, and you can pause again. Yeah, and there you go.
So the idea here is that you'll be able to manage the way that you contain the UESR through selecting these areas, and then get into a little more detail here. Yeah. It's been a while since I've looked at this stuff, so I'm almost like exploring it myself. South America. There's a lot of like Stressa lore questions, and if you really want to know, you can watch the 3-hour movie. But if you subscribe to the channel, maybe halfway, maybe that's ambitious to say, I'm working on the recap episode now, so you'll be able to see that when it comes out if you subscribe. I think like I want MacArthur to be involved. I don't know. We have to talk about it. So the reason why I'm not being able to just be like, yes, this is how the story is going to be, it's because I want to work with the Talons and Twilight team. They, in some cases, know more about my lore than I do. I remember there having to be a big debate over what the hell Nepal was doing during Project Stressa, and that ended up with something interesting. I think we resolved that Nepal basically beat everybody, and it's like a Prussia of the East sort of thing. But yeah, so it's a collaborative effort with the Talons developers, and overall it'll make the story a lot more grounded and a lot more interesting, and the mod will be more fun to play. At least that's the theory. I'm gonna drink some water so somebody else can talk.
Yeah, let's get Orca in. Orca, I think it's ready for you. Time for you to start talking a little bit.
Hello. Just to introduce myself, I am Orca, Alka, how you want to say it. God, I'm kind of responsible for the texts and the dev diaries that have been released. Don't know if they've been put in chat yet, but whatever.
Yeah, I'll put them in chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of responsible for the text. Unfortunately, the helicopters aren't in Lord Dad's game. Just some bugs I'm fixing, but I'm pretty sure the air text should be in your game, Lord Dad, if you go to the text. And then over to the air, it might be there. Yeah, it's most of them are here. The air texts are here at least. Still a lot of things to fix. Just like stats, bugs, all of that. What should I talk about?
Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm not as prepared for this as I want to be either.
Oh,
Wrote about in her dev diary that you can take a look at. It's really interesting and cool to see. I'm excited to see how it can be involved in gameplay. It's clear that she had gameplay in mind with it, and it's good that we have helicopters represented in more than just a late game supply company that currently you can get in Hoi 4 if you get the DLC.
I am planning to make them more of like a fourth option, if that makes sense. You have like planes, ground, and like ships.
Mm-hmm.
That's the three main things. I'm kind of planning to have helicopters as like another option for like planes, is like especially like during the early Cold War, as jets like progressed and became more like mainstream with the world, they were very expensive and hard to make. I'm planning to have helicopters be like a second like option to that, if that makes sense. Make them more useful than what Lord Dad said, just another supply company that is not needed at all whatsoever. Yeah.
Great.
I would have liked to have it shown, but the game hates me, so
that's okay. There's so many questions, and when the stream is over, you'll be able to join the Talons and Twilight Discord, and I think we have an Ask a Dev channel there. You'll also be able to apply to the developer team if you want to take part, and we need the help. We haven't even updated to the latest version of the mod yet, of Hearts of Iron 4 yet. I think a part of that's because we're still trying to figure out how to use the coal mechanic. I think at one point we were considering having uranium be what you use instead of coal, but then wouldn't be great to be playing other nations. But then again, if we're focusing on the majors, then maybe that's all you need, but maybe I'm already getting sidetracked. Why is Kuban a part of the Mountain Republic? The majority of its population is Russian. So, as you'll notice, there's also Murmansk, and we're even revising the borders here to be more Russian. It's because Russia is, in all but name, a Reichskommissariat of Germany. You'll even be able to see. I'm not gonna reveal too much, but if you can tell anything about what this might mean, then you'll know, right? So that's just a little bit of a teaser there. And when it comes to paths for Germany, I don't know what the paths are exactly. I know for canon, I want to have Adenauer hold on for a little longer, and then potentially have Zentrum leading. But I think right now the idea is that it's Zentrum or SPD, and you can pick one, and it changes your policy a little bit, but mostly is the same. You want to decolonize Africa to get one up over the Americans. You want to establish Volksbund in places like Namibia, or I'll say it in the way I said it before, Namibia. Just a little meme there. It's just a really bad take that I kept in the movies. I say Namibia, and I don't know. My tongue was twisted after all the voices I had to do. But yeah. And then when it comes to the Intermarium, in the epilogue, so if you watch Project Stressa, so this won't be a spoiler. The Intermarium, Romania, and Czechoslovakia leave the Saxon allies and refuse to accept Volksbund, and this will cause Germany to be antagonistic to the Intermarium, basically seeing them as a stab in the back, especially when they're facing off against the Cato of Ireland, Iberian Commonwealth, French State, Kingdom of Italy, their colonies, Israel. Like, it's this whole thing. And then if the Greek fascists win their civil war, then they'll be a part of it too, and it's just like one big front here already, and then also Intermarium. So they need to secure that. But we will have it so that if the Germans go in on the Intermarium and they stay stable or whatever, I don't know if I'll have them stay stable, but there will be outcomes that resolve in a actual just war, and you can fight the war, and that's an interesting scenario to play. Germany having allies here, but then a problem here, a Russia that could even be not loyal to them. How much land do they give to Russia? Do they give them Belarus and Ukraine, or just Belarus? What is going to happen here? What's their policy with Poland afterwards? Lithuania? There's a lot of questions that I have my own answers to, but other people might have other answers, so then it's actually a really good Hearts of Iron 4 mod, and something that I'm really excited to see.
We have Orca's got her game up with the helicopter stuff. If you still want that.
Yeah, I'm going to try that now. Do I need to worry about anything that's on the screen? I don't. How do I preview or whatever? We'll just do it. There we go. Okay, no terrible things leaked, and I can actually show you what Akka has.
Okay, let me play.
Orca is streaming.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
we are up. We are up.
It will let me.
The stream is still running.
Yeah, I can see the helicopters right now, Akka.
Okay, just give it a second. Oh, hello. Let me turn the quality up. So I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Alright,
Jesus, what is happening?
Oh, we are in. Okay.
I hate Discord so much.
Okay, Orca, it's all you.
Okay, yeah, be a bit nervous. This is what I've shown all of you in the dev diaries. The GFX, a little buggy, just moving over. But I did want to show you helicopter designers. I know that you might have been looking for this. If I can do this. What should I talk about? Oh god. So, like I said earlier, I wanted helicopters to be like a second option to getting like air control and getting some like CAS out. The design philosophy behind it was they're much cheaper, much easier to produce, but however they were just starting to come out over the Second World War. Like during the war, this one here, I think it was the R2, was these quality R2 was just getting out of production, was being used for like mainly for medical purposes and ferrying troops from here to there. It's kind of what I wanted to do here, wanted to make like a second option to planes. I could show you the actual designer, if the quality's still good. I hope it is. It should be. Research. Okay, so designer, no, there you go. So this is designer here. it's it 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 it's really similar to the plane designer. You're gonna be using it's gonna be easier to figure out. Um, Again, I apologize for a lot of the GFX still broken, but engines, rotors, weapons, they're all here. What I wanted to go with was first start off with like the earlier plane uh copters, right? During this time in history, they weren't exactly really advanced. They were still kind of used for scouting, recon, like ferrying troops from A to B. It's kind of what the utility helicopters were designed around. Um, I'm so sorry. I'm so nervous.
It's okay.
It's kind of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a lot planned. Also, quick teaser here. I do have a lot planned when it comes to these. It's just actually getting them out is a bit hard. I do have plans to bring the tech into the 70s, as you can see here. I have plans to. I don't know if I should leak this or not. It's kind of minor, but I do have an idea to bring out stealth mechanics into like
Oh.
planes and helicopters. I would like to do with ships, but that's another day. I have plans to bring stealth mechanics to planes and ships. How that's gonna be implemented, no clue. I'll figure it out. But I think you guys will like it when it's released. This will be the part of main release if I can get it working. But yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you
That's
very much.
what to
Otto.
say, yeah.
Yeah,
Welcome,
it's
welcome.
really great to
Thank
have
you.
tech that's really iconic for the era. That way we can really represent the game and it not just be a World War II simulator without any other
Yeah.
technologies that were really
That's
pivotal for the way that the geopolitics worked out. Yes, thank you very much for
That's-
sharing that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was making these. Like I wanted like our mod to be like different from like others. I wanted to like have ours like stand out from the crowd, if that makes sense. Give us like something unique, like new planes, new techs, all of that. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to start showing my
Thank you so
screen for a
much.
little more. Oops.
I shall
And
stop
that's the trailer again. Sorry.
So sorry.
That's fine. Okay. Maybe I'll.
I'm
end,
so sorry.
Maybe I'll. No, it's okay. When I changed the OBS scene, it automatically played the trailer again, so I had to cancel.
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong, Aka. Thank you for showcasing
Second
your
trailer.
hard
Woo.
work.
Thank you so much, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course, it's an honor. Anyway, let's see what's going on here. Anti-ship missile. I'm not sure about that. Maybe. And somebody asked about Russia collapsing.
I do have plans for that, yes.
Okay, Alka, yeah, Alka says yes, there will be. So, will Russia collapse? I'm not going to tell you how, but there is a canon event that causes instability in both sides of the dividing line of Russia, even when the UESR is formed and Russia has full rights. So, whatever that is, you'll have to see. But yeah, it's like episode like 6 or 5 or in my outline right now. What else is
6
got
or
there?
7?
Yeah, I think that is the entire dev team from Down Under. We do have a large Australian presence in the Lordad community, which is one of the things I was not expecting when I started YouTube, but here we are, right?
Yeah,
And-
all us Aussies, we love Lordat. If you are an Aussie in chat, subscribe to Lordat. Subscribe to Lordat. If you,
You know
are
what they say.
Australian, you cannot be Australian without subscribing to Lordat. Subscribe to Lordat.
Oh God, okay.
It's in the Constitution.
All right. So somebody asked what's happening with Burma. Something crazy is
mean,
happening in Burma.
I
I'll tell
can
you that.
explain.
Uh,
I mean, I can explain because it's something I've also researched, even if it was Solo who suggested it.
yeah.
So essentially, even at this time in OTL, Burma was in a complete state of effective collapse because of there was this agreement called the Pangong Agreement that was signed between representatives from 3 minority groups in Burma and the Burmese government that essentially guaranteed autonomy and federalism. The main government went back on that, and they also didn't include a major ethnic group, the Karen, down there in the south of Burma. So what's going on there is essentially a worse version of OTL. The KMT has burst into Burma, whilst there's a civil war and separatist revolts all across the entirety of Burma. It's only slightly worse than it was in OTL. In OTL, there was communist army mutineers and the Karen National Union rebelling, and the KMT also having an incursion. So what you're seeing in Burma is just that in this timeline.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, I love punished Chiang Kai-shek. I think that's awesome. Yeah, so what else is there to say? Somebody asked how we all are besides the mod. I'm doing okay. Got my own stuff going on. The kids are growing up really fast. It's nice to be able to work on this again. In some ways, it's been really difficult, but it's been really nice when things work out. It's really awesome to see the stuff that the development team's been working together, and I hope to continue with that. Also, Gugs, shouldn't you be in the Discord chat right now? Gugs is a head developer.
His internet's not working. Yeah,
Oh,
his
okay.
internet is not working.
Well, Gugs is
So,
a head
context-
developer. I
yeah.
think he even helped found it.
But he founded it.
Yeah.
He created the mod.
He's
He
a
was the
server
first person
owner,
in the
probably
server.
even. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Is Brazil going to be relevant? Yeah, I
That's
don't.
a Ghost question.
I don't have much plans with this right now. Something that Gugs actually helped retcon is there's no like Brazil civil war in the way that it's shown in the Stressa movie. Instead, it's regional separatists that in this region there are some Germans, so Germany could get involved in Brazil with the secessionist republic potentially, but I haven't looked too much into South American lore yet. West Africa and South Africa, that's like episode 2 content, so I don't want to say too much beyond what you can see currently in the epilogue. But South Africa and Rhodesia are going to defect to the Edwardian government, which will then cause a proxy conflict between the ADN and Cato. And they defect because Britain accepts the policy of decolonization to avoid them getting caught out by Cato. It's kind of just like cutting and run, like a lizard losing its tail sort of thing. They will still have economic interests in places like Malaysia, and hopefully South Africa too, but that depends on who wins the conflict, right? West Africa I'm not going to really touch on, but as you can imagine, having 2 rival French governments, one having decolonization measures, one being full colonization, directly bordering, even if it's through the Sahara Desert, will cause some issues. Can Chiang Kai-shek sell the world? I'm late. What's going on? Oh, okay. There's so much is going on. I don't even know where to begin.
I think there's a couple Malaysians in your chat, and they're asking about Lee Kuan Yew in Malaysia. Well, Lee Kuan Yew will be relevant in the Malaysia content that we have planned. We haven't added Singapore as a state yet, which I probably should. But essentially, there will be a lot of ethnic mechanics, which were a big reason why Malaysia split apart in reality. So keep your eyes peeled for Malaysians. We have also a large amount of Malaysians in our dev team, so this region's probably going to get a lot of content, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's really interesting about Talons and Twilight, and I guess it's why so many people from this area of the world are interested in it, is because this is a very large, in-depth theater of the war with a bunch of different conflicts that are scattered throughout the whole thing. You have domestic conflicts here. The Dutch East Indies aren't going to survive. British Malaya, we just talked about, is going to be a thing. Philippines, they were promised to be independent, but now they might not be able to be independent. There's going to be issues with the communists and the Vietnam. There's a bunch of stuff happening in Burma, and then that just connects to everything else, right? What else is there? Brazil Civil War, yeah.
Someone did ask if this is a further right Cold War scenario. No, it is not. It's a continuation of Project Stressa.
No.
This isn't
I
Imperial
understand.
Twilight.
I actually understand the confusion
no.
because I was alluding to working on a lore grave about Imperial Twilight, but I kind of hit a wall with that, and then I started working on this. So I am interested in doing a video about that in the future. But oh yeah, so something really important I want to say about the way that the schedule will work for uploads. So Project Stressa was released like weekly, bi-weekly over like 9 months, and I do not have the ability to produce videos of that scale if we're doing Hearts of Iron 4 modding. Because something I really want to do is I want it to be that if we showcase a conflict, I want to have really good progress on the way that that conflict manifests. I don't want it to be an ultimate incarnation of a Toozer mod where a focus doesn't have any effects, a graphic interface doesn't actually work, other things like that. I want it to be that the Talons and Twilight mod and Project Talons mutually benefit each other. So in that way, we'll be probably having once a month, or even more than that, between episode releases. But that's not to say that I'm only going to upload once a month. There are other videos I want to do that aren't project related that I want to be able to showcase, and so you'll see things in between. It won't be just like that, but we'll be chipping away at this, and we would love to have you guys' support. If you want to join the developer team, we are looking for people to help us flesh out content in other areas of the world, and you can even have your little say on how you think that we should manifest everything. Although keep in mind that because this needs to be the canon, like the canon needs to be kept in mind, I may need to veto your ideas in some cases. So, but anyway,
Naturally.
I think that we're pretty good now. I think just maybe a couple more questions, or maybe some other developers want to say some things before we wrap for the day.
I think one more thing we should talk about before we head off is Inferno. I think you should outline Turkestan.
Oh,
Like,
you mean
yeah.
the Turkestan retcon?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that was a earlier addition to when I joined the team. Essentially, the idea was that after the USSR collapsed, a variety of different groups within Central Asia sort of came together to form a provisional government. And this was partially done so that it would make sense that they didn't just join the USSR under the SSSRs that were there. Now, East Turkestan, as Ordet showed before, is demilitarized. That's because huge swaths of it are actually controlled by insurgents, Islamist insurgents. And what's going to happen there, I'm not sure if I can spoil this, but they play into Turkestan, and Turkestan plays into the final resurgence of the UESR as the last bearer of the torch of the revolution, you could say. The other demilitarized zones are the Fascist Party of Russia and the last remnants of the KMT on the mainland.
Yeah, great. There's a lot of cool content that we have, and Turkestan is going to be a really big, pivotal part about the way that the Cold War develops. There's a lot of really cool things that we can do with this, and I'm excited to showcase it all for you guys when it's ready, because we are still chipping away at it. But
It's a work in progress.
yeah. But again, we would love your help if you are interested in joining the team. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, including the Desert War. But like, I'm not even entirely sure how that's manifesting.
There is another question I can't answer. It's just Project Stressa stuff. But what happened to Stalin? He was couped after Stalingrad got nuked in 1944. Was he couped in 1944 or 1945?
It was like, I forget. It was before 1946, because 1946 is when there's peace here. So like 44, 45.
Okay, yeah. Stalin was couped because Stalingrad got wiped off the map quite literally, and the Red Army and Reformists all panicked. So he got couped, the Hardwinders fled east, and Stalin's dead.
Yeah, Stalin dead.
Yeah, it's probably like Molotov, who's over there and east, if I had to guess.
Hmm.
That, or I don't know,
Um,
Mountcop or whatever. Either way,
Yeah.
it gets the point across.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you very much. Wait, well, I'm spent myself, so I'm
Yeah, there's not
gonna.
much left to talk about.
Yeah, there's not much else to talk about. Just a lot of doing to do. There should be links for everything. The Discord, their
Well, there is one
subreddit.
thing you can check.
What was that?
There's one thing. There's one conflict we have completely coded in. If you want to, though. If it's, unless you want to end it now.
I want to end it now. Yeah, I don't even remember what you're referring to. So
I'm talking about Japan. Like,
oh
Japan's
yeah,
the
oh
only
yeah,
thing
that's really cool stuff. But I'll save that. That's good episode 3 content.
yeah, we're out of time, guys.
Yeah, I'm spent. I gotta reconnect with myself. I don't know. But point is, I'm very excited, and thank you all for tuning in and asking your questions. We can continue the conversation on the several Discords. And yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you, developers, for signing in. I'm going to play the trailer one last time and then stop the stream. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Inferno, Lekus, Aka, for all of your support in this stream. And thank you all for watching.
Thank you, everyone. Join the
Bye.
Discord.
Yeah, come to join the Discord and you can talk more there. Yeah, see you guys around.
Wer verantwortlich für das allgemeine Wohl hat, muss alle erscheinen. United, we can match this challenge with a unity which is above recrimination, above partisanship,